What's good? What's good? We back. One and only Paul Masson. Another live from Fayettenam Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. Live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Audio version will go to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. Make sure y'all leave a like, a comment. Make sure y'all subscribe and follow if you already haven't. We're supposed to have a guest on tonight. Want to give him a little bit of time to come on. Um, did let him know 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully he will come on. And you never know. Sometimes things come up and they can't make it. Let me get a sip of my soda. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Appreciate y'all tuning in on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram as well. I know I saw a post today. They was talking about Jermaine Dupri going in on AI, and he was comparing AI to Milli Vanilli. Said it's the same. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Milli Vanilli was like some guys wrote and sung the song, and some other guys lip synced it. AI is just like the song is written by AI, the music is recorded by AI, the artist that they do in the video is AI. It's not a real person. You know, there's really no real person doing anything except telling ChatGPT to write the song and produce the song. Because you throw it on like ChatGPT, write the song, and you take that song and then you throw it through an AI song generator, and then you generate it from there. All right, so our guest is here. Let's introduce him. He's a OG out of Staten Island, and he's got a new single called Soldier. And some of y'all might know him from GP Wu, and y'all might know him from his solo work. Let's bring on the one and only Pop Da Brown Hornet. Pop, how you
What,
doing, man?
what's going on? What's going on? Thanks for having me on the show, Paul.
Definitely, man. When I saw they was hitting me up about interviewing you, I definitely couldn't pass up on that.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Yeah, so I want to start here. The name Pop Da Brown Hornet, is that your original rap name?
Well, that's my original rap name. Yeah, it's the first rap name that
Okay.
I put together. I had that since the beginning of my career. So, yeah.
So I mean, cause that name kind of fits with the wu-tang,
Whoa.
names, and you kind of like that's like what 80s, early 80s. You came up with that name.
Well, I would say that I came up with for myself. I came out with it in the mid to late '80s. I got the name
Okay.
off of the Fat Albert cartoon. The Brown Hornet would come on that show, and when he came on that show, he would kind of like give Fat Albert and the gang some insight on whatever dilemma they were going through. So when he would do that, a kind of light bulb went on in my head. Like the Brown Hornet was like a message. He would give them a message. So me being an MC, I wanted to be a message carrier MC, and so I kind of got gravitated towards the Brown Hornet because I felt like he was a messenger for Fat Albert and the gang.
I don't remember the Brown Hornet in that, but now I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again just cause.
Yeah, well, Fat Albert, I'm sure the Brown Hornet didn't come on every episode, but I always found it intriguing that a cartoon would go watch a cartoon. So that's kind of I kind of like. And then Brown Hornet was like the Brown Hornet, and he would have his he have his sidekick Stinger, and so yeah, that's
Stinger.
that's more or less where I got the concept from. And so Pop the Brown Hornet, even though I like to be very versatile in all my styles, um, being a messenger, One of my first claim to fame songs was Black on Black Crime. Um, I had another song called, Straighten It Out. And to my latest single Soldier, which is more of a positive based song. So my forte, my foundation would be more of a message and be more concept and be conceptual.
So you're from Staten Island. Is Staten Island any different than any of the other boroughs, Brooklyn, Bronx, or Harlem?
Very, very much so. I mean, all the other boroughs really have landmarks to go to and places to go to, and maybe strips to buy things. So when you go to the Bronx, you can go to Yankee Stadium. Queens, you can go to Shea Stadium. When you're uptown, Manhattan, you can go to Apollo, Madison Square, and Brooklyn, you can go right, go to Barclays, so many places to eat and so many places to shop. With Staten Island, not so much. You have to be
Okay.
maybe a local to really know where to get the exclusive stuff. Not too much eateries. I mean, and there's no real big landmarks for people to come to visit Staten Island and say I'm gonna go to and have entertainment. It's much slower than all the other boroughs.
So the GP Woo, I'm guessing at first y'all were just GP Gladiator Posse.
Well, we were the GP to Grain. We were
Okay.
GP for you to have an understanding, and for people around the globe to have an understanding. I'm from Stapleton, so it's kind of like
Okay.
GP, the Gladiator Posse, and Wu-Tang. The foundation, the seed of Wu-Tang, the movement, all started in Stapleton. So when you
Okay.
have GP Wu, is just that we embodied both the movements that came out of Stapleton. We were supposed to be GP the Grain, but Hank Shockley decided that he wanted to piggyback off the Klan, so he threw the Wu on top of it due to the fact that the Wu movement started in our projects. But yeah, necessarily we weren't trying to be GP Wu at all. That was the
Now,
record. That was the label's doing.
what was the hip hop scene like there before the whole Wu Tang thing like really blew up?
Yeah. Staten Island was basically the forgotten borough,
Okay.
the forgotten rock. So I would say a lot of us were out to be the first or to be heard. You
Yeah.
know, when you had the UMCs kind of broke through first when it came to hip hop. Wild Pitch had gave them a deal, and a lot of us were honing our own craft. And then Shaheem wound up signing a deal with Virgin Records. Actually, it was a production deal through R&S, and like Shaheem was the first artist. So, Shaheem got signed, and the Wu came a little bit thereafter. And but before all of that, it was just a bunch of hungry MCs and trying to make it. I would be up at R&S's house in the late '80s, early '90s, and we R&S was buying equipment. He was the first producer really to buy equipment. I'm sure there was other producers with equipment, but he was the first one to make headway with his
Hmm.
equipment. And I would go up there and practice my craft. And this is all before, like you said, the records came out. So I would be up there on 4 track, 8 track. We put it on a cassette and we put it in someone's cunyon, and we just have street props at the time. I was just getting street cream and street credibility. So my street credibility and street fame was pretty high, you know, amongst the MCs that came out to represent Staten Island on wax. I was in the
Uh-huh.
mix. I was in the mix of all of those MCs.
So Shaheem actually had a situation before Wu Tang did.
Yeah, Shaheem had a situation before Wu Tang. Is just that Shaheem was underage, so he had to go to the court
Okay.
process and all of that. So he didn't really get. He was making music and he was coming, but he wasn't able to drop his album until everything was cleared out. And I think Wu was able to maybe sneak a single out before, like maybe Protect Your Neck or whatever. But Shaheem came shortly thereafter with This Goes On and On.
And from what I've seen, the Shaheem album was the first time that GP Wu appeared on some, like I guess a major album.
Yeah, I would say so because actually the members of GP were solo artists. I was a solo
Yeah.
artist. Down Low was more or less solo. June Lover as well as Rubber Bands. We all come from out of Stapleton, but it was like when Shaheem got on with Virgin Records and RNS was producing. I mean, we collectively supported Shaheem. So it was like that's where I got the GP, the crew came together, and Five Elements was one of the first songs that we did together, and that was on Shaheem's album, Five Elements.
So if you grew up in Stapleton at the time, I mean, you couldn't help but notice the movement, right?
I was part of the movement.
Yeah. So y'all ended up getting a deal with MCA Records. How did that whole situation come about?
It's really hard to say. I know when I came out independently with Smoke Records with Black on Black Crime, and I had the B side GP Connection with DSA. I know that Hank Shockley got his, a lot of people were a fan of the Black on Black Crime. I know GP as well. We had a demo tape, so I think a mixture between Black on Black, and then there was a demo with us on it. And I think Hinkley and Daddy O got their ears on it, kind of called us up to MCA. And I think we made a situation happen. There could have been a lot of other things behind the scenes as well. I think they wanted something from out of Staten Island due to the fact that the W was making headway. I think they wanted the piece of Staten Island, and we were kind of like up. We weren't signed to anyone exclusively, so it made a good situation with MCA. I wish it would have developed into something greater, but unfortunately we did the one album which I felt was great, and we weren't promised any backing moving forward. So respectfully, we asked just depart and go our own separate ways.
Well, what do you remember most about when y'all were recording that album?
It was just fun times. Like I said, when you have young brothers trying to make it, to the next level, and accomplishing getting the deal at the time, it was big. We were signed to MCA. It wasn't a lot of Staten Island artists signed to major, but Shaheem was signed to Virgin, but then you had your UMCs. They was with Wild Pitch. The W was signed to Loud. That was an up and coming label. So being signed to MCA, I just figured that, and then having Hank Shockley and Daddy Yo, it was very exciting times because were expecting the best, and we put our best foot forward. I felt like we had gave them a solid album that could have been pushed, and just gave us the foundation for things to come.
You said you bring up the UMCs, which I interviewed Cool Kim. Really, really great guy. Did they really set the tone for what was to come? Would you say?
No, I think
No.
UMC. Nah. UMCs
Okay.
were, like I said, when before the W really came out, you had a gang of MCs that were out there and they wanted to be heard. The UMCs in their unique style, grabbed the air of Wild Pitch. But like I said,
Yeah.
I had demo tapes prior to the UMCs getting on. Like I said, that dropped and we put into the Cunyon. I have street anthems, songs like That Don't Make You a Man, Son, What Goes Up Must Come Down, Shattered Dreams. The list goes on of songs that I did before people were making records, So I was one of the dudes that were, that set the bar when it came to making music and brothers getting on. I was already out there with RNS making demo tapes. So when they got on first, I think it was just more of everybody looking at chops to be like, yo, I know I got next. Um, because like I said, the Force MDs being the first from Staten Island, but the UMCs breaking through. I just felt like individuals were more or less like they couldn't wait their turn. Um, Setting the tone, I wouldn't say so because the UMCs had their own original style, and nobody kind of like tried to
Yeah.
duplicate their sound. I think individuals had their own sound. It wasn't till the Wu-Tang came out that, you know, the outside world tried to give Staten Island a specific sound and wanted to say, "Oh, that sounds like Wu-Tang," but
Yeah.
I think that's far fetched. Wu Tang, had their own sound as well as the UMCs, as well as myself, as well as Shaheem, as well as King Just. All us had our own sound. Our tongue and our slang may have been somewhat the same because we're from the same geographic, but styles totally different.
So following that album, the group went to separate ways. You went solo. Why'd you decide to go solo at that time?
Well, actually, in hindsight and looking back, I actually should have came out solo first. Um,
Okay.
I was signed to Smoke Records, and I came out with Black on Black Crime. I kind of took the back seat in order for the group to come out because I figured all for one, one for all. But
Okay.
in hindsight, I should have came out as when I dropped Black on Black Crime, I should have
Yeah.
followed. I should have followed it with my solo album, so y'all could have identified what who Pop Da Brown Hornet is, and then GP should have came. I should have been participated in GP. Kind of like how Biggie came out, then there was Junior Mafia. Kind of how like Tupac
Yeah.
came out, then came the Outlaws. Brock Pop the Brown Hornet came out, and then should the GP, and I think it would have stuck a little bit harder.
Well, saying that, I mean, do you have any regrets about the decisions or feel like you might have made a mistake of not going
Well,
solo first or
well, what was in my heart at the time was the group thing. I really wanted to
yeah,
do it because I felt like we could have individually won our own solo way anyway. So I
kind
figured
of like Wu was doing?
well, not kind of like Wu was doing, but like I said, I had a solidified solo deal
Yeah.
already
Already,
with
yeah.
both records and independent. And so, like I said, I took the back seat in order for the group to get on because I wanted all of us to eat. You know what I mean? I said,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
hindsight, yeah, I could have came out solo and then featured them and then worked on it. But I figured, we were all kind of like coming out of Stapleton. We were all family. It was organic. This wasn't something that was man-made and you coming from here and I'm putting you. This was kind of like we was already here. We already helped Shaheem gel his shit. Yo, let's do this group shit, and then if opportunity show face, we'll do our solos. I know I might have the solo thing coming. That's something I already had in the bag. So, like I said, me putting that on the back burner to want to do the group thing was to say I just wanted to be more impactful. I know the groups, you win with numbers. That was my thought right now.
So you had the solo debut, Underground Emperor made a strong statement. What was the message you were sending with that title?
Well, the Underground Emperor was like, when we come from out of Staten Island and we coming out of Shaolin, if that's where we coming from, I'm coming from out of
Shaolin.
Stapleton and Temple. You know what I mean? I'm the Emperor. I'm the Underground Emperor. I was doing this underground before people jumped on the scene and started putting things on wax. I was underground, um, you know, going with the movement, creating the movement, being a pathfinder in this. I was there back then and I'm here right now without all the hoopla, without all the big, support. So I'm an emperor in this. I'm a legend on Staten Island. I served the test of time. No one's given me anything. I've done everything. Basically, especially in today's present time. I've done it on my own. Nobody's throwing me any bones. So the Underground Emperor at that present time was stating that I've been doing it. I was one of the originators. I came from the underground, and I'm the emperor at what I do.
I saw where it says do they call you the soul brother number one for the fifth borough?
That was from the Underground Emperor album, and that was one of the
Okay.
that was one of the joints on there. Soul Brother number one from out the fifth borough. It was called I'm So, but it was like I'm more or less like yeah. And nobody was really calling Staten Island the fifth borough until more or less I just was just like we this is the fifth borough. You know what I mean? We the baby of the boroughs. I'll claim that, and I was claiming to be Soul Brother number one. Yes, from out the fifth borough.
So how would you say your styles evolved from like the first album to your most recent ones, like Foreman Mandela and Mike Champ?
Yeah, my champ is a single off of Foreman Mandela, and
Okay.
I like to just look at it as from the Underground Emperor. Maybe I was frozen in time, like Han Solo or something. I was just frozen, and when I defrosted, I was Foreman Mandela, and I just kind of like picked up right where I left off. I didn't really get caught up in the hoopla of what they were doing now, whatever it is, trendy and fatty or whatever. I really wanted to do the big boom bap. I am, I do bend. I don't mind getting creative, like Soldier is one of my typical beats that I would rhyme off of. That was produced by Mike Diesel. You know, he's from Chicago.
Okay.
He's from Chicago, and I know he did a lot of production for No Limit back in the days, but not my original, not my forte. But the beat was hot, and I got creative around it, and so like I said, I really use the same format, dictionary thesaurus, and give the hip hop head some substance. That's what I really, I did that then, and I kind of like, after what they say, if the wheel's not broke, don't fix it.
And let's talk about the song a little bit because I reviewed it last week. It was crazy, man. It was last week was a bad week of submissions for me, man. A lot of terrible submissions. I usually do yay, nay, or okay. I don't try to trash anything, but if you get a nay, I think that self-explanatory. But I gave it a yay, and it was only maybe three three yays all day. But I like the beat. I really like your voice. I think you got a really good rap voice. I like the delivery. The subject matter is not the same as you get in the mainstream because mainstream I don't even call it hip hop. It's rap to me. It's just the same three topics over and over and over again, man. So I really appreciate it. But what was the whole inspiration behind the song Soldier?
Yeah. Shout out to Ken Miles and shout out to Yusef. Actually, the beat wasn't even really for me. A brother Ken Miles too from out of Chicago. It was his beat, and it was already titled. And he had came to me. I had wound up meeting him down at the Diamond District, and he was just more or less like, "Yo, I got a beat that I think that you would sound good on," and he gave me the beat, and he was like, "I want you to do a verse to it." So when I marinated on the beat, I kind of monopolized it, and I wound up laying two verses to it. And then when I gave it to Ken Miles, he kind of got lost in the source for a little second. So I wound up getting in contact with Mike Diesel himself, and I let him hear it. And he had produced. He was like, "Oh, he mixed, he mastered it, sent it back, and we put it out." So when I got the beat originally, and it was named Soldier,
Okay.
and I started writing to it, I just said, "You know what? I'll get kind of like I wanted to keep it positive, and I just made it to where I was the soldier of God or the higher power, like I'm His soldier." So I wrote the rhyme in the sense that I'm the soldier of the higher power, and I'm here more or less to represent and keep a positive. I don't know if you've seen the video, but it's more or less like it's like a good versus evil type of temperament where
Okay.
you see some bad things going on, and I come, somebody's about to fight, I'll come through, touch them. So it's more like I'm a soldier for God's doing.
So are you working on an album too?
I mean, I work on songs. I'm currently
Okay.
I'm recovering. I was working 731 for a living, and I got hurt. So I had neck surgery,
Okay.
shoulder surgery, and
Damn.
ankle surgery all within the last like 2.5 years. So
Damn.
I'm just really getting my strength back. I'm getting into the gym. I put Soldier out there to stay prevalent and relevant. So I will be probably grabbing some beats and I would say, I'll probably drop another single and then hopefully maybe second quarter I can come out with an album.
What about any up and coming shows or do you got any tours coming up?
Well, I don't have anything scheduled. There's a couple of things in the makings, and hopefully it'll transpire, but nothing solidified.
I mean, so basically, we can expect like some new singles here and there, probably like every 3 to 4 months, a new single or something.
Well, I have a clothing line. If you see my hat,
Okay.
then you know Staten Fly. So
Okay.
I do some clothing. I'm working on some designs. That's keeping me kind of occupied. I am working on some music, but I don't want to put out an album. I want to make sure an album is done correctly. I want to have a couple of different producers, and I just want. And I fund all my stuff. So when I
Okay.
fund my single, I gotta fund the studio, I fund the video, So funding an album for me would be kind of, I'd have to have my pennies up because if I do 10 songs, I would want to do 10 videos and I would want to push it and
Yeah.
go through it. And that's about 5,000, 6,000 right there. And like I said, I pay for it. I don't have a deal. Everything is done independently. So I have to strategically, drop my music so I can promote it. I don't really think, we dealing in the times right now, like you said, I'm not mainstream. So a lot of these times I'm putting out my music for the last some odd years. I'm not really feeding getting any kickback. I don't go on paid tours and things of that nature. I'm glad that the people are kind of receptive that I'm doing music and that I'm back around. And if I got some shows, paid gigs in the immediate future, that would help bring forth an album because, like I said, I'm coming out of my pocket with it. So, I just have to play about the higher powers. Let them take the wheel. And if it's meant for me to drop an album for the people, I'm definitely capable. Like it's more of a financial thing than anything else.
Yeah, I think artists from a certain era right now, it really benefits them to just get back to direct to consumer. I think streaming is really fucking everything up. Not even just music streaming. I mean, you got the video streaming like YouTube TV dropping ESPN. You got to get so many different subscriptions just to watch everything you want to watch. It's just getting out of hand. Streaming is oversaturated. AI is coming in. I just think if you got a certain quality music, you got to get it out of that oversaturation of AI and crap that's on streaming platforms and take it to Bandcamp or your own website or something, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and you're probably totally correct. So, when the young brother had came out and dropped his album, you know, what was that on? I forget it slips my mind. But the young brother that's locked up, there's different ways to drop it. Like you said, if you're not on your own website or if it's not on the NFT, you know what I mean. There was ways that we was trying to crack the code so where the industry
Oh,
is not
you talking about Tory
touring.
Lanez. Yeah.
I know a lot of people would have been on that kick if he kind of like broke the code. And if it would have went down that line, then you probably would have heard 2 or 3 albums from me by now because the revenue would have came back to me. So, like you said, the way it's set up now, for me to want to drop an album, I would love to have my own website set up to where, like you said, it's straight to consumer. Or like I said, I have my own merchandise, do it somewhat like how
Yep.
Nipsey was doing it. You buy this, you get the album, you download the album
Package
for
deals. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm more or less, like I said, I'm more or less directed towards that lane. Like I said, if I was to come out with an album, I definitely would want to have it to where it would go straight to consumer, you like Prince and all of that. You just set up the website and have them buying it straight from you. I think me dropping these singles right now, I'll help because I'm hearing you dropping the album, you dropping the album. If y'all interested like that, it'd behoove of me just to drop it on my own platform.
Well, I mean, when you look at the last couple years, the better albums are from artists that are 35 and up. Especially last year. I mean, a lot of 35 and up guys had the better albums. I just think most of this music in the mainstream rap, it's not timeless. It's all exactly the same song over and over again, almost. So, the better
Yeah,
albums are definitely coming from the underground.
yeah, there's no they're not vintage. There's they're not authentic.
Yeah.
No originality. Um, I like to call it microwavable rap. It's not food for thought. There's nothing that's cooked up in the crocker for 4 hours. Like when you make music, like the great Chuck D said, I don't want to rhyme for the sake of riddling. So, and
Yeah.
if I'm take the time out to make an album, I want to make sure that I put it out and that it's heard and that it just doesn't. Foreman Mandela to me was a great piece as well, but I don't think the media in the world heard it the way it should have. So I just don't want to put it out there and it doesn't stick. That's why I think doing the singles. If I got something that cracked through the mainstream with somebody like I had Black on Black Crime, if I get a single, it's enough for me to follow it up with a solid album. So we'll see how it works out.
I got a Wu-Tang question for you. I don't know if you watched that Wu-Tang TV series that came out.
Not at all.
Okay, well, one of the first scenes was I want to say it was Raekwon shooting up Ghostface's crib. Is that any
Right.
true? Were they like enemies before they became like best buds?
Well, in a nutshell, Ghost is from Stapleton and Raekwon is from Park Hill. So
Okay,
those
so
two projects,
the
those two
projects were enemies.
yeah, the two projects were enemies. But as far as I don't really know their relationship. It could have. I seen an interview where Ray said that Ghost robbed him or the dice game or something of that nature. Um, so and Ghost was a stick up kid back then, so that's possible. I don't really know their relationship like that. I know Dennis Coles. Our families are very close, so I knew Ghost since we was like 10 years old, and
Yeah.
then I knew Corey. I knew Shala Raekwon and Chef. I knew him since junior high school. We went to 49 together, so I knew these brothers since babies. You know.
And it's crazy how much influence Wu Tang really had. Like, just every artist that was affiliate, even if they had their own sound, it still fit with the Wu sound. A lot of the names fit. It was just like everything was just like a piece of
I,
the
I,
puzzle just coming
I was
together.
I
Every
was I,
artist. I
I,
mean, you
was-
had Shabazz the Disciple, who was
I
dope.
was I,
Killer
I was
Priest.
I was Pop the Brown Hornet though for a very long time before the clan was put together. I was Pop the Brown Hornet. I mean, I used to go to
And
Park
that's
Hill.
crazy because that's Wu Tang sounding name to me.
Yeah, I mean that's because you're stuck on that, but it's not no Wu Tang. It's not no Wu Tang
Yeah.
name. You got a Method Man who became Method Man. He was Shaquan back in the days, and
Okay.
when he used to hang in front of 160 with Inspector Deck, I would come up to the building and he used to be like the Brown Order, and this is way before the Wu Tang Clan was even put together. You understand? So I was the Hornet, and when they came out with the Killer Bees, that's why I said, and people
Yeah.
say, Brown Hornet, you're a Killer Bee, you're an affiliate. I'm far from. I'm the prequel. I predate the Wu Tang Clan
Yeah.
and I'm a hornet. I can never be a killer bee. So it sounds Wu Tangish only because the RZA took a lot of the Staten Island slang and things of that nature, and he helped propel it to the next level. But this is something that was already around. Pop the Brown Hornet was out for a very long time since I was 16 years old, 17 years old.
Yeah, because I know it says y'all formed y'all's group in like I guess '86. I was like 7 years old.
Yeah, I mean the Gladiator Posse. We started out in Stapleton, and we wasn't rapping. It was just bad kids
Yeah.
around. We was the Gladiator Posse. We called ourselves the Gladiator Posse because we was the last era, more or less, to use our hands before guns and crack became prevalent in the streets. So that's why we were gladiators. But yeah, we started then, and then the rap group formed more or less. Like I said, I was rhyming since the mid '80s. Solo, Pop the Brown Hornet, and GP, all family. We was the Gladiator Posse, but the rap group didn't start until the early '90s.
Last question, man. We'll let you go and do some shout outs. I know you probably got something to do as well. When fans look back on your career, what do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah, I just want my legacy to be like, I was artistic. I brought my own unique style to the game. Um, he represented for his borough, Staten Island, as much as he was allowed to without me getting blackballed and. But that's it. I just want them to be like, yo, he was a dope. He was a nice lyricist. I'm not trying to be the greatest lyricist ever. I just want to be a dope lyricist that came out of Stapleton, Staten Island, who brought us solid hip hop. That's it.
Well, I appreciate you taking out the time, man. Like I said, I definitely liked the single. I pretty much liked everything about it, and I was glad I actually was dope, man, because I had a lot of bad records that day. And then I had a artist. I guess I gave him a okay, so he wanted to shit talk me in the comments all day. So it was definitely a fun experience.
No, I'm glad you
But I
appreciate it. The song was made to, when I do music, I don't ever try to fit it. I try to stand out. So those was one of those songs that I fit. I felt that it stood out. Even when I was making it, I was like, this is different. It's original. And this is what hip hop needs, just to try to break up the monotony of of what's being played. Like you said, there's only three types of music being played, and that's drugs, violence, or sex. And so
Yep.
I just wanted to break it up, break up the monotony, and give it some art.
What's this logo you got in the background? Bomba Fire, something.
Well,
I can't
yeah,
tell. See the text on it.
Bomber Fire Enterprises. So
Okay.
when I put my music out, it's on Bomber Fire Enterprises. So shout out to all my digital distributor, East West Distribution, and they let me put Bomber Fire, and I have other artists that I'm a feature on Bomber Fire as well. I got one of my comrades, DLR, the GP, coming up with a new single called One Way In, One Way Out, and that's going to be on Bomber Fire Enterprises. So, I'm just trying to get a little movement with the Bomber Fire Enterprises, put some artists out, and maybe we'll catch some heavy hitter.
Is that your distribution company or a company you work with?
No, it's the music. It's mine. I created. I'm the
Okay.
CEO. Yeah. So even like I said, when I drop my music for the last 5 years, it's been under Bomber Fire Enterprises.
That's what's up, man. Well, appreciate you taking the time out. Anytime you want to come back on, you got a new single, please do, and please keep sending them for the music reviews, man.
I appreciate you, Paul. Thanks for having me. To the
Any,
followers, you can get me on Facebook, Pop Da Brown Hornet, TikTok, Pop Da Brown Hornet, and I'm on Instagram, Pop Da Brown Hornet _ 10304. Thanks for having me, brother. Add me to
any
your
shout
plate.
outs you want to do?
Nah, just shout out to the whole Staten Island. Shout out to New York City. Shout out to all the hip hop fans around the world. Add me to your playlist if you like traditional hip hop, and I'm good on that. One love.
And I'll be putting out some clips when I get off here. We got the AI with the StreamYard, so it'll clip up a bunch of clips and we'll post them. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and also the audio version will go to Spotify and all the other streaming platforms as well.
Okay, yep. Tag me in it. Tag me in it.
Will do, man. Appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your night, man.
Enjoy your weekend. Peace.
All right. Peace. Well, there you have it. Pop the Brown Hornet. Um, OG from Staten Island, been doing it for a long time. Literally formed a group back in '86. I was like 7 years old. It's crazy. Like I just feel like the Pop the Brown Hornet, like he said, I guess because the Killer Bees is why I feel like the name is like a Wu-Tang name. But like he said, the name was before Wu-Tang. It predates Wu-Tang, but it just fits so well, in my opinion. And GP Wu did have their own style, but it fit with the Wu as well. And it was just Wu-Tang is probably the biggest hip hop group of all time, besides maybe Outkast, you know, who had a tremendous success. But so many Wu-Tang affiliates. I didn't know that Shaheem literally had a situation before Wu-Tang, but I guess he had to wait because of his age. But Shaheem, I could have sworn Shaheem was like 14 or 15 when he came out anyways. So, and there hasn't been a lot of super duper young like rappers at that age that came out. You had Illegal that were kind of young. Chris Cross were pretty young. A Plus was pretty young. Shaheem was pretty young. Um, But Shaheem definitely was one of the guys that had that early deal. His album was dope, and that's where you first heard Pop Da Brown Hornet and GP Wu solo members. As he said, they were solo and then they went into a group. But interesting story. The name is interesting. I don't remember the Brown Hornet on Fat Albert, but I'm definitely go back and check it out. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. Let's see who we had on Instagram. Thomas Bynum Ministry. Can I send a song? I'm not doing music reviews today, but you can submit a song to livefromfayettenam at gmail.com. Livefromfayettenam at gmail.com. All right, we about to wrap it up. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Another episode. Peace, and I'm out.